Yeah. That's fun. Whew. All right, guys, let's get started. So good morning. Thank you for coming in on the day that we got 1 hour less of sleep. I don't know about you, but I woke up a little disoriented at it being so dark this morning. But we're here, so great. We're going to just kind of go head to toe. We've got our band because we'll use that for a little bit. And if you did the open workout, just do what you can to stretch through it. You're going to have some feels from that. So, all right, let's go ahead and get started with some breathing. We'll find a comfortable seat. So maybe that's on the shins, maybe that's cross-legged, maybe that's legs out in front. Hands go anywhere that's kind of comfortable. And we're going to sit up tall and just close the eyes. No real special big breathing practice today. What I want you to do first is just gently close the mouth and breathe through the nose and just feel what that feels like. Okay? There's a reason that the body likes breathing through the nose rather than the mouth. Some of it has to do with the air getting cleaned and moistened when you go through your nostrils. All of those things kind of add up to make the nostril breathing a little bit more effective than breathing through the mouth. So just want to feel through that. And as you continue to breathe through the nose, create a longer breath. So maybe you just add 1 count to whatever natural breathing pattern you had, making sure that you breathe fully on the inhale and let it go fully on the exhale. We'll just spend a few moments here breathing like this and just kind of feeling through that nostril breathing. Couple more cycles and just notice how that kind of closed your attention in and around the breathing and kind of what's happening with the body and kind of focused inward a little more. I'm just going to stay with that for these final few just simple breathing cycles. All right, now gently opening the eyes. And I want you to just keep breathing through the nose, but we're going to start kind of stretching through some things. So go ahead and lay flat on the back. And when we get there, first thing I want you to do is just bring those knees into the chest and give them a little squeeze. And then we'll begin with a simple hamstring stretch. So extend your right leg up towards the ceiling, left leg straight on the floor, and then kind of grab low, like back of the thigh or knee. Interlace the fingers and allow the hands to just support this position without too much pull. Like your arms aren't pulling your shin and your leg forward, just kind of helping you stay in this position. Breathing through the nose. And on your next exhale, we're just going to release that right leg down to the floor and left leg will go right up. Same thing. So grab kind of low on the back of the left thigh. That left foot can just gently pull towards the shin. It's not a full pull. It's just a real gentle toes to the shin. So you feel a little more tension in the calf. Good. And on your exhale, we'll go ahead and release and bring both knees into the chest. And then we'll start next with a gentle spinal twist. So arms out wide like a T, knees are together, and drop the knees over to the right side. It's okay if that left shoulder pops up. Want just the knees to fall. And then as you breathe through the nose in this position, that left shoulder should slowly soften towards the ground as you gently unwind. And then that inhale will bring you through center. Knees reset together and then over to the left side. And again, the knees fall, and then even if that right shoulder's off the ground, mine is, so it's just what happens. Just allow that breathing to just soften everything in the upper body to allow that right shoulder to drop. Inhale, brings the knees back through center. And just give them another little squeeze into the chest. And then we'll go into a happy baby. So your elbows will be inside of the knees, and you're going to grab for the outer edges of the feet. Okay? And in this position, the heels are kind of drawing down as you pull on the feet, and those feet are kind of stacked over the knees. You can kind of rock a little bit side to side. You can kind of move the legs now. You can kind of straighten a little bit, one or both at the same time. You can bring your feet together into a little diamond position and pull the feet towards your face. Just kind of move and feel through this happy baby. Good. All right. Go ahead and release. Grab the knees, pull them into the chest. And then just a couple rocks forward and back. And you'll eventually, after about 3 or 4, kind of rock yourself up to hands and knees as we go into some cat-cow. So we'll rock forward. Okay. So hands about shoulders distance, knees under the hips. Okay. So first few, we'll just go classic cat-cow. So drop the belly, lift the chest. And as you press into the palms, you round the back, chin curls in, tailbone reaches to the backs of the knees. And again, drop the belly, lift the chest. And round. Good. And a couple more times on your own. This time you can kind of add wiggling the hips side to side. You can make like big body rolls. You can kind of lean to one side or the other. And just kind of move in ways that feel like it's getting a little bit of stretch, a little bit of softness and movement going in the back. Okay, so let's find a neutral position now. We're going to come into our next position, which is our thread the needle stretch. So we'll go left arm out. And as you bring the left arm through, you're going to come onto the left shoulder. Now move that right hand off to the side a little bit. And that right hand is going to be the leverage as you push into the ground to help you twist the torso towards the ceiling. So thread the needle is a twist. You want to feel that that torso is rotating. The right ribs are rolling back behind you to help that twist. Good. Now inhale brings you back to your hands and knees. Just a little wiggle to stretch it out. Okay, reset the spine and let's go other side. So right arm out, thread the right arm through to the right shoulder. And then you'll drop the head down and you'll press into the left palm to help you twist. All right, next inhale, unwind, find your hands and knees. Give it a little wiggle to reset. So next up we go child's pose, side stretch. So let's first start with our child's pose position. Toes will be together, knees will go apart, and then we'll just sit towards the heels. Now, if we walk our hands out in front, we're at about 12 o'clock. And we're going to start on the right side. So walk your hands over to 2 o'clock, so over to the right. And it's the left arm that we're going to focus on now. So reach a little bit more to the right with the left hand. And then draw your left hip down towards your left heel. From there, feel free to kind of roll the outer left ribs down and up. And just move through this side stretch to get all of that lat. Now walking the hands through center. And we'll just kind of walk them over to the other side. So go down to 10 o'clock. Now your right hand is the lead hand here. So extending more through that right hand towards the left side. Then your right hip is going to descend towards the right heel. And from there, we stretch. We find a lift of the right ribs or a roll down so that you're kind of getting into all of that tight spot. And now walking the hands through center on that inhale. Okay. Next up, we're going to go into single leg child's pose. So coming up to the hands for just a moment, we're going to take our right leg and shoot it out to the right with our toes forward. And then we'll just kind of sit back towards that heel. Okay. Feel a big inner thigh stretch here. Okay. So once that leg goes out to the side and you sit back towards the heel, if you don't feel much of a stretch, then you can walk your right foot out to the right even more. Maybe you feel enough of a stretch and this is good. And just kind of breathing into that stretch. Good. And then from here, keep the leg where it is. Just kind of come onto the hands. And then we're going to play around with like what happens when you turn the toes up towards the ceiling and that right hip kind of drops down. Maybe you get a little more hamstring stretch. Just kind of move the foot towards 12 o'clock, up towards the ceiling, and then maybe forward. And just feel where that stretch moves as you move. Good. All right. Bringing yourself back to that neutral tabletop position, and then we're going to go other side. So shoot that left leg out. Sit back towards the right heel first, and then if you need to scoot the leg out more, cool, or not. And then we come down to the forearms, and we just feel that inner thigh stretch. Good. Now from here, coming up onto the hands. And then that's where we're going to turn the left toes up towards the ceiling, kind of drop that outer left hip down, feel more of the hamstring stretch, that deep stretch. and then roll the toes forward. Just kind of go back and forth like that a couple times. Good. All right. Go ahead and reset into the hands and knees position. Just give me a little wiggle. Okay, so next up we're coming into cactus. So this is gonna take us all the way onto our belly. So we'll just find a gentle drop to the belly. And in cactus, we start with the arm at about a 45 angle with the elbow in line with the shoulder, okay? But, there's a big but on this. You might get into this position and not feel anything at this angle. So feel free to move the hand, open out the angle. You can go higher with the elbow or lower. You can go straight arm. Let's start with the 45, okay? And then you can adjust your arm as we get into the stretch. So from here, you're gonna push into your left palm, roll to the outer right hip, and then you can drop that head down. We're looking for a stretch right in the front of the shoulder, so adjust that position of the hand so you get it. So for me today, I'm going to have to go angle up so my elbow is not in line with my shoulder. It's a little bit higher. And your next exhale will bring you back to your belly. And then we're going to go the other side. So I'm going to plant your right palm down, cactus that left hand and left arm. And then from here, roll to the outer left hip. And then again, that left arm can adjust. Like on this side, I don't need to make as big of an adjustment in position to find the stretch. So it's really just going to be where you are today and what you need to do to get the stretch that feels right. Good. On your exhale, we'll release back to the belly. And then from here, we're going to kind of gently press back into a downward facing dog. Okay. And any way you want to get there, we just tuck the toes, we're going to lift. And after the open workout or just any workouts this week, you might feel that we need a little bit of movement for the lower legs, so you can pedal out the feet. You can hold that calf stretch on one side and then the other. And then from here, just walk the hands back towards the toes, and we're going to come into a fold in the back of the mat. Okay, so feet are a little bit narrower than the width of your mat. And then from here, soft bend in the knees. All we're going to do is we're going to fold. You're going to grab the elbows, and you're going to hang. Let the torso relax. Soften where you can. We can sway side to side. We can shake the head yes and no. And just notice where you feel this stretch in the hamstrings, calves, maybe the lower back. Where specifically do you feel it the most? Good. And on your next exhale, we're going to gently roll up to a standing position. Good. Okay. So remembering that feeling of where that hamstring stretch was, we're going to do two more hamstring stretches and folds. First one is going to be toes out. So, it can be 10 and 2. I want your heels together. That's going to be helpful. Okay. And so just standing up tall, the little bend in the knees. On your exhale, we're just going to reach gently down towards the floor. And you're going to stop on this fold where you need to. Okay. And you may feel a very different stretch in the backs of the legs. Might be hitting in a different spot. Good. All right. Next exhale. Gently stand. Okay. This time, toes are going to turn in. So big toes are going to touch, heels are going to go out. This one's going to feel weird, but also good. Okay. So standing up tall, little bend in the knees, and on your exhale, we're going to fold and see where this stretch hits. All right, next exhale, slowly roll up. All right, go ahead and grab that band that is nearby. Okay, pass-throughs. So starting by grabbing the very ends, unless you know you can go a little bit narrower. We're gonna do 10. And just gonna kind of open through the chest. Ooh, that's a little bit sore. And as it starts to warm up, then we can bring the hands in. Yeah. And then once you've hit your 10, then we're going to go 3 each side around the world. And the around the world is a little bit more to the side. So we just going to stretch out more of that side body as we go through that rotation. Okay. Shoulders feel a little tight today. I don't know. Oh, man. I can barely do that. Oh, my shoulders are tired. Oh. Good. All right. Let's put this off to the side. And we're going to come just down to the hands and knees. We're going to get into pigeon. And we're going to stay in this pigeon for a little bit longer than we normally do. And so when we go into a pigeon pose like this, think about making the stretch intensity not so high to start. So if you have out of 10, I'm not looking for 8 or 9. Like, let's start with a 6 or a 7. Let's make it easy. And then we'll intensify. Okay. So let's drop down to the hands and knees. And we go right knee towards right wrist. Okay. And then we scoot the left leg back. Okay. Now, if you're like me today and you're tight and your hips are pretty high off of the mat, then you can either stay there, or for a little less intensity to start, you can just kind of drop to that outer hip and then making sure we fold right over the shin. Okay. If you are in full pigeon, find that comfortable position where your shoulders can relax. Maybe you make 2 fists and stack those fists so your head has somewhere to rest. We're just going to stay here. And then halfway through, we'll make it a little bit more intense. But just for right now, it's a 6 or a 7 out of 10. Nice and easy. And we're about halfway. So if you want to find a deeper position, you can just scoop that back leg back just a little bit or drop down over the shin more. We'll spend the last few breaths here, now making this a little bit more intense. All right, let's go ahead and roll onto your outer right hip. Come onto the hands. And then you're going to swing this back leg forward. And we're going to come into a position where your right foot is in the inner thigh and your left leg, if your torso is facing 12 o'clock, your left leg is at about 11. Okay. So this is the target area here is your lower back, your right lower back. Okay. So let's sit up tall. Inhale. Right arm up. And then we're going to turn the torso to the left leg and reach across. Now grab for whatever you can. Doesn't matter to me. Maybe it's the ankle, the outer calf, the outer foot. But you're reaching across, and that's targeting that right lower back to make it more intense. Just keep anchoring your right hip towards the ground. And then inhale, we'll bring you up. And then we're going to take this left foot and we're going to swing it back behind us. Okay, quads. This is going to focus on the quads. You might feel the hip flexor here. So in this position, it's easy to let that left hip just kind of pop up. If we can, just try to anchor it down a little bit. Doesn't have to touch the floor, but we want to level out those hips just a bit. And then hands can go behind you. So maybe this is all we have today, and that's okay. If you feel like you can go a little bit farther and go down to the forearms, cool. If not, just enjoy this spot. And maybe, I like doing this where you just kind of massage through some of the knots in the hip flexor, the hip crease there. And that sometimes can give you a little bit of extra release to be able to fall back more. Good. Inhale brings you up. And then we just rock towards the hands and knees. And give yourself, 2 or 3 kind of cat-cow, wiggle hips, whatever movement might feel good here for you. And then we'll go into the second side. So now left knee towards left wrist. And walk your right leg back. And if your hip is high, like mine, you can roll to the outer left hip to start to give you a little less intensity. And then we'll make a change in just a little bit. We're about halfway, so if you want to make this a little bit deeper, go for it. Scoot the back leg back. Try to drop the torso down more. All right, gently bring yourself out of that. We're going to swing the right leg around. Bringing that left foot to the inner right thigh. And again, this right leg is out at like 1 o'clock. So it's not directly out in front of you. It's out to the side a little bit. Okay. Sitting up tall, inhale, left arm up. Turn the torso towards the right leg and reach. And again, grab for what you can. So maybe it's the outer knee, maybe it's the ankle, the foot, but you're reaching across and anchoring the left hip down at the same time. So you get those two kind of competing actions to help lengthen that left lower back. Good inhale brings you up. Right leg gonna come around so that this right foot is long and close to the hip. And again, this right hip likes to pop up. So we just drop it down. Doesn't have to hit the mat, but just even out the hips. And from here, we can go back or to the forearms. And again, it may be that this hip crease and hip flexors are needing a little bit of love before we go drop all the way back. Good. And next inhale, we'll come all the way up. And let's go reset like we did. So go back to those hands and knees. Just a little wiggle for cat-cow. Okay. So then we're going to take a seat again. We're going to grab the band, have it handy because we're going to use it for these last few things. So go back to that seated position after that cat-cow reset. And we'll lay back. We're going to grab the band and we're going to go this hamstring stretch we did in the very beginning with the leg up. Now we're going to have the band. We'll wrap it around the arch of your right foot and then we go up towards the ceiling. Now, your upper body is still relaxed. And so me holding onto the strap, I'm not pulling as much as I am just hanging out here. If we want a deeper position, you can walk the hands up the band. And then from there, we just allow gravity to gently help us pull the shin towards the face. And this band will help give you that little extra room to get that leg closer. Good. And now from here, we're just going to switch the legs. So your left foot will come up and just get that band around the arch of the left leg. The left foot. Extend your right leg onto the floor. And then same thing, your upper body is relaxed, just kind of hanging out, holding onto the bands. If you need more intensity, we can walk the hands up the band. But again, we're trying to find as much softness in the whole body as we can. All right, very good. Go ahead and unhook yourself from the band, knees into the chest, and then that band can just go off to the side. And we're going to come into a final twist, deeper than the first twist we did in the very beginning of this practice. So keep your right knee in, left leg extends on the mat. Now scoot your hips over to the right a little bit so that as that right knee falls to the opposite side, you feel as though you're on the outer edge of your left hip. And then from here, again, it's just softening that upper body. It's not pushing down into this twist. It's allowing gravity to help unwind and deepen the position. Good. All right. Inhale brings that right knee towards the center. We reset the hips and we're going to switch sides. So now the right leg is long on the mat. The left knee is in. We scoot the hips over to the left slightly so that as we start to let the left knee fall, we feel as though we've rolled to the outer right hip. Left arm extends out and gravity does the work here. Just let everything soften. Good. And next, inhale. We'll bring you back through center. We're going to bring both knees to the chest. Give them a little squeeze. And then just gently extending your legs onto the mat. We're coming into our final rest here. It's just a couple minutes where we're just not doing anything, which is really nice. So arms are long, shoulders are relaxed to the ground. Find a comfortable position. Close the eyes and let the breathing find its natural rhythm. Slowly start to wiggle the fingers and the toes. Then reach arms overhead like you're waking up in the morning, full body stretch. And then just slowly finding your way towards a comfortable seat. You can roll over to the right side for just a quick moment. And then when you feel ready, you can make your way to that comfortable seat. And we'll sit up tall one last time. Good. And just opening the eyes and just for a moment being grateful that you got here with one less hour of sleep. And hopefully your body feels better so that you can go off on this day and then hopefully make up that sleep tonight before the start of the next week. So thank you guys for coming in. Enjoy the rest of your day, and then I'll see you guys next time. Thank you.